I hope everyone's doing well. Everybody's feeling well. All right, we can see if we can change that and make you feel better. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to talk about your weight, right? Now, I know you're thinking, that's great. How am I going to feel better talking about my weight? But as we age and get older, some of us find it harder and harder to lose weight. There are circumstances in which we do lose weight, like when we're sick or we're going through some sort of illness, right? That is not chosen, right? When we lose weight, our idea would be that we've chosen to lose this weight, we've made the necessary adjustments in our daily lives, and now we're cutting calories, we're becoming more active. But the problem as we age, our activity slows down, which means we burn less calories, and our food, we eat a lot less, majority of us. And it's interesting because as we age, our taste buds change, and it gets harder and harder to taste food. And our food is designed to taste better, all right? So when you have products like cereals, they have additives that they have put in there to make that cereal taste sweeter, right? There's more than just sugar in there, so that kids, when they eat that, they crave it more and more every day. This has been going on for decades, right? Since the 70s, this stuff has been happening. And so it's not made known. You guys wouldn't know it because the media is not going to cover it. And certainly these big corporations are not going to come out and tell you it because it would impact their bottom line. But our weight can also affect falls, all right? And that's what we're going to talk about here. Most of us have weighed a certain weight for a period of time, maybe decades, or we've hovered 5 or 10 pounds. That is called your set point. What that means is that is where your body handles your daily activities, your daily stress, physical and mental, the best. Most of us eat the same types of foods day in and day out, and most of us eat at the same times day in and day out. Think about your jobs, right? A lot of you guys have worked in the same position for years, and your lunch break is always the same. Your start time is always the same. Your end time is always the same, and your food is based around those times. My generation, we tend to, millennials, Generation X, I'm right on the edge. We tend to float around a little bit more. We're a little more mobile when it comes to our jobs. So our schedules change a little more often. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I think there's a lot to be said for someone who works at one place for 20, 30 years. But what ends up happening is as we retire, we become less active. And did you know that for every pound of weight gained puts an extra 4 pounds of pressure on each of your knee joints? So if you gained just 5 pounds, it would be like adding 20 pounds to each knee. Think about carrying a 20-pound weight around all day in each hand, and you can imagine how much your knees complain with each step. The other day, I got out of my car like this. I got out of my truck, and I was walking like this, and my wife comes running over, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? What's going on?" And I said, "It's my back. I'm just tired of carrying you guys all the time." So she didn't laugh. She hit me, but that's fair. All right, so think about that. 4 pounds, right? We're talking about every pound of weight puts an extra 4 pounds of pressure on each of our knee joints. Now, a study of obese individuals found obese individuals had a 31% higher risk of having fallen. All right, now how do we determine obese or overweight? That's done by your BMI. Now that scale is not foolproof. The BMI is your body mass index, and it's based on your weight and your height. Someone like me, I am considered obese. I am not obese, but this scale does not take into account your muscular tissue, right? And muscle weighs more than fat. They do have a scale for that, but you have to be careful. All right? A BMI of about 28, 30 or higher, you're considered obese. If you guys are interested in your BMI, come see me in class, or you can do a quick Google search. They have great little calculators that you can just type in your height and weight. It'll spit your BMI out. Okay? So, obese individuals had a 31% higher risk of having fallen. But no higher risk of a fall-related injury as compared to healthy weight individuals. So a fall, but a fall without injury. Obese fallers also had a 57% higher risk of believing nothing could be done. So now this goes to the mental aspect of it. So most of what it's saying is 57% of obese people who have fallen, they believe there's nothing they can do, right? They can't lose weight, they can't improve their balance. Well, we know that's not true here, okay? So, older obese individuals have an increased risk of falls, more so than healthy weight individuals. And the global obesity crisis has been a major concern for public health. It's a big concern in our youth, all right? The rates parallel, let me see this. The prevalence of obesity in older population has been on the rise. That could be due to a lot of things like technology, food becoming more accessible, us becoming more sedentary, things like DoorDash. We no longer have to go out and pick up our food, which reduces the amount of activity in a day. The food is just delivered to us. All right. So the prevalence of obesity in older populations has been on the rise and now poses a major global threat. Overall, age-adjusted prevalence of obesity in the United States is estimated to be about 35% among men and 40% among women. These rates parallel those observed in the geriatric population, with 37% of men and 33% of women aged 60 years and older classified as having obesity based on your body mass index. So at the end of the day, right, what do I always tell you guys? Protect your leg strength and walk, all right? Walking, no matter your pace, okay? If you can go at a faster clip, great. The challenge is just doing it consistently. I think we all could agree with that. When you do that, you're burning calories, right? And then the battle at the plate, that's where it's really won. If you guys want to talk a little more about that, we'll do that after class. But right now, let's rock and roll. Let's get started.
Isn't it your bones too? I mean, I've heard that people fall when they like break a hip, but the hip breaks before they fall. So it's not just your body fat; it's the strength of your bones.
Well, here's the deal. So you're talking about osteoporosis, osteopenia. And as we age, right, the bones become a little more brittle. There's a couple of factors here, right? So vitamin D we get from the sun, okay? That's going to help strengthen our bones, magnesium, calcium. Anytime you're doing resistance training, your muscles are pulling against the bone to create leverage, right, to get you up and down. That's going to strengthen your bones. Yes, you're right. In a lot of cases, especially frail, the more frail you are, the higher chance you have of like stepping down, okay? This is where you see what you're talking about most often is when someone is stepping down and they have all that weight coming down. What happens is the bones are so brittle that the hip will break as they step down and then they fall. So by doing resistance training, you're continually strengthening your bones, increasing the bone density. But then also you're going to take all of that extra weight out of that equation. The heavier you are, you tend to be a little more cumbersome, a little slower. And so there's a two-pronged attack there. Doing the resistance training, not only are you strengthening the bones, but you're burning the calories too. Does that make sense? Yeah, good question. Steve?
I was just curious, as you put on the weight,
Mm-hmm.
you get heavier, whatever, your corollary there. If you lose the weight, a pound, do you gain strength as far as asking it properly.
No, I think what you're asking me is that as you gain weight, do you get stronger?
No, you said you put on 4
Pounds, right.
to the knees.
Right.
If you lose a pound, do you also
Reduce the amount that's on your knees, right?
Exactly.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Is there similar amounts, or like if you lost the 5, put on 5 pounds,
Right.
or carrying 20, if you took off the 5 pounds?
They're parallel. So the added weight that you put on when you take it off, there's stress that weight put on the body comes off of the body. So if you put on 5, 10 pounds, you've got that added weight to your knees, that 4 pounds, right, that we're talking about. If you lose that 5 or 10 pounds, now you're going to lose that pressure too, because what it is it's gravity that's pulling down on that volume, right? So here's the deal. If this is a pound of fat, it's probably, well, we'll do this. This is a pound of muscle. If this is a pound of fat, this is a pound of muscle. That's the difference. So even though fat covers more volume, it's not nearly as dense. Well, guess what? The body loves fat because it's easy to move around and you can store a lot of calories. Muscle, because it's more dense, it's harder to move, right? But what it does is make you stronger. But it also requires specific type of calories to maintain and consistent exercise and resistance training to maintain. So the more muscular you are, the more calories you burn because your muscles need that to maintain themselves. So I want to get off in the weeds too far on that, but at the end of the day, the walking, doing the little bit of resistance training 3 times a week, I would recommend 4, 3 times you can get by. That's going to help you keep your weight down and then also strengthen the density and improve the density in your bones. All right. Did I make you more confused?
It's not easy to understand.
No, it's not. I know, trust me. It took me a long time and a lot of labs. But you know, the thing with your weight too is your body can only go 2 directions. You're either going to gain weight or you're going to lose weight. And a popular myth is you cannot turn fat into muscle. That's called alchemy, right? It's just like you can't turn or spin thread into gold, right? Fat is oranges, muscle, that's bananas, okay? So what happens is as you gain weight, typically you're gaining fat, okay? Now, when you start working out, what happens is you're adding muscle, right? You're gaining muscle. But the problem is you're gaining this much muscle, but you have this much fat to lose, I'm sorry. So what happens on the scale, the numbers are deceiving because the scale numbers, you're working your tail off, you've been in the gym 6 weeks and the scale's moved 2 pounds. It's gone down 2 pounds. The deal is this, watch your clothes. Do your clothes feel smaller? That's the indicator, not the numbers on the scale. In fact, I tell a lot of my clients that are coming to me to lose weight to take their scale and throw it away or put it away. I don't want you on the scale for the next 3 months because as you're losing fat, your number's not going to change, but your contour, your composition, your shape is going to change. And that's what you have to focus on. Yeah. Awesome. Very good. All right, guys, let's stand up. We're going to do it to it.